Hey everybody, hope you're well. Let me get you promoted here.
Hey, Gary.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you, Bobby.
Good to see you too.
Yep. We're gonna get everybody promoted here, then we can get started. So how things in beautiful St. Augustine?
They are hot. But really good. It's awesome down here. So it's hard to think about living anywhere else.
Yep.
I
Well,
still
maybe. What's that?
I just still love it. I mean, when I was a little kid, then we moved away, but now, 13 years later, I still love being here.
Yeah. Now that you're 19,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All right. Hey, Mark Rickards on. Cool, man. Okay, let me get everybody finish the promotions. I think I'll get everybody promoted. We got people from all over, Bobby. So, hey, I wanted to ask you too, how far are you from New Smyrna?
New Smyrna, maybe a little over, I think an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So not far.
I think I'm going to be down there or over that way. I'm going to be in Inglewood. I'm driving to Inglewood tomorrow.
Okay.
And then head back up north. I've got a couple of speaking things to do there. And then and I don't know the month, but I'm supposed to go to New Smyrna, and I think it's for 2 weeks.
Oh wow, yeah. Inglewood's only an hour and 10 minutes for me, maybe an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh no, we're south of Sarasota. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm thinking of yes. So you'd be, let's see, if you're south of Sarasota, you'd be about 5 hours.
Probably 3 or 4 hours. 4 hours. But,
okay.
But your driving might be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I go pretty quick. Yeah.
That's Florida for you. Okay.
It is.
Let me just double check here and make sure I got everybody. Let's see. I want to see. Okay, I don't see Gina on yet. Okay. All right. Hey guys, we got a special treat tonight. I am going to teach about using, joining local investor clubs and even creating your workshops in a bit. But Bobby Appleby was one of the very first members of the team. He was the first person to cap on the team. And he'll tell you some of the things he's done to get there. But most importantly, he developed relationships with investors early on. And a couple of those guys have made him provided him some amazing opportunities for earning commissions and also going forward, being part of their investing activities, and I don't know all the arrangements, Bobby, but to a certain degree, a partner level type arrangement. So guys, I wanted you to just be able to talk to Bobby, do some Q&A and ask some questions, because this is what this team's designed for. If you think about that production development chart, okay, levels 1 through 5 are all about you producing and building your version of your model, whatever that is, that should include owner occupants and investors. But level 6, and everybody has that chart. You were given to it when you joined the team. Pull it up and look down below that paragraph that says level 6 partner level. And that's where you develop the business on your own, or we do it together. I help you co-develop training programs, whatever that is. And, Bobby did this, and he did it pretty much on his own, guys. Bobby didn't need me a whole lot. I mean, we had some calls, but he built those relationships just by doing what everybody's supposed to be doing. So, hey, Bobby, if you wouldn't mind, I'd love to have you just talk about, in the beginning, some of the things you did early on. And I know what they are because you told me, but just let these guys hear and see you're just a regular well, I mean, we all say we're regular.
Hey, Gary.
Yes.
Can you promote Gina?
Yep.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. Well, there's a couple more, but you're a good guy. You're a regular guy. You work and you act and you speak with heart. I want people to see a little bit of themselves in you, and a little bit of effort. And it is hard work. Anybody can do it. That's
Yeah.
my philosophy in life.
Yeah.
You
Agreed.
might have it harder or easier than the next guy, but the fact is the same activities are available to everybody. So,
Yeah.
okay, I'll quit talking.
Well, I'll give you a very brief rundown of kind of what I owned a gym before I got into real estate, and it pretty much took over my whole life. It was 80 plus, 90 plus sometimes hours a week. It's just like a 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. thing. And that was Monday through Saturday and Sundays. So eventually I got into this thing. I said, I need to do something different. So I hired a bunch of employees, sold the gym, or I'm sorry, I already had employees, hired a manager, sold the gym, and then went just full force into real estate, which I always had wanted to do. And I was always intrigued by the investor side. So I got my real estate license, started selling houses, and I think, gosh, Gary, I think it was maybe 7 or 8 months in, we met. And then I went to one of your seminars and immediately was just kind of hooked and really intrigued. And then Gary, I started doing his training and I learned a ton. And so my real estate career started growing. And I did a bunch of regular residential sales and things like that. I have a really good time with that. To me, it's very fun. I think it's probably more fun than working with investors sometimes, just because I'm very relational, and a lot of investors are not. They're just, they just want you to show them how they can make money, which is fine, which is great, because that's what we want to do anyways. But I got involved with a group of guys that were buying and building. So they're buying land, building spec homes. They were looking for some rental properties. And so I really got hooked up with them, and I just started finding all these land deals, land that single lots that you could subdivide and do, 8, 10, 15 house developments on, things like that. And so we started building these relationships, and that was really good. And then the whole time I'm just working on how do I get more investors. And so I think that everyone can find someone who has money. Anyone can find that, right? And so I think that was always my thing. I felt like I didn't know anyone that was wealthy, and so then you start to realize down the road that there are people who are incredibly wealthy and would love to invest, and they look like your everyday guy. And so it turns out a bunch of people that I hung out with actually had a lot of money, and you would never know it. And so I'm not college educated. I didn't work in a corporate world or anything like that. I always just kind of worked for myself. And, but I did just love the interaction with people. So I started making a bunch of phone calls, seeing if anyone would be interested. I cannot stress enough the importance of calling your sphere of influence. It's almost embarrassing when you get out of the habit of it and then you start doing it again and you realize how much sales you can get from that. I've recently discovered that about 4 months ago. I was so vested in these big commercial deals that I kind of really let my residential side kind of dip a little bit, and I started making calls. And again, it's not a bragging thing, but I literally started making calls, and I put like 3 or 4 million under contract in like 3 months. And it was all sphere of influence based. And so these are people that I haven't talked to, some of them in 2 years. Some of them I talk to, every couple of months and things like that. And so these people have also led me to investors. They've led me to people who wanted to go in on deals with me, or people who just said, hey, we would love to put $50,000 or $100,000 into a deal. One guy actually last week committed 1.5 million to a deal that we're doing. And so it's really amazing what you can do just by staying in contact with those people. And I think with Gary, that was one of the first things that you put some weight into, was stay in touch with these people, stay in touch with your people. When you develop your sphere of influence, it really is just a numbers game, and people say that all the time. When I first got into real estate, I heard it and I go, oh my gosh, I got to make 100 calls to get a deal, and, or maybe I'll get 2 deals out of that 100 calls. But then it's like, you realize what you put into that and where it can lead you. And it's really phenomenal. So I did that for a long time. I ended up getting hooked up with this one guy, an investor who's now actually my partner. And I did this really small land deal with him. We subdivided this lot. I subdivided the lot, sold this house for him. He ended up making $130,000 in about, it was a couple weeks, and all he did was dot loop sign some documents, and I did everything else for him. And so our relationship really started then. And so then we've been building and building, and I've now been a part of, over the last 12 months, with this organization that I got involved with, a nonprofit. We've sourced over 7,000 units. We acquired 7,000 units in the last 12 months. And up until yesterday, I was actually under contract with Chris for our very own 130 unit apartment complex. But we discovered some fraud, so we had to cancel that deal. But there's plenty more of that to come, and so we're glad we found the fraud, because it was pretty severe. But I will say it's the simplest things that have led me to getting the greatest success. I don't do anything fancy. I don't pay for any marketing. I will eventually, but right now I don't do any of that, and I just focus on the basic day-to-day activities, and I just do them intentionally. And it's been really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want everybody to get your pen or pencil out. If you could go ahead and get a pen or pencil and a piece of paper you can write on. So I'm going to give you the secret. Everybody's always looking, what's the secret? Well, here comes the secret. You guys ready? First word, CALL. Call.
We knew that, Gary.
Yeah.
YOUR. Your. And what's the third word?
Leads.
Sphere. Call your sphere. Guys.
Call your sphere.
Yep. And you know what's interesting? There's another guy on, like Mark Rickert, is another brother from another mother.
Yep.
From Albuquerque, and he's one of the nicest guys ever. And this is a surprise, by the way, but I've known him for a while, and I know of his success and his family's success. And I'm here to tell you, I'd be willing to bet $1 million if I asked Mark the question, does he and his wife and his son, do they call people? I'd bet he'd say, yeah, every day we call people. So I probably just put the words, there you go. He's holding up the phone. So, in the marketing tab, guys, when you go to the website, log into the members area, go to member resources, right? Click on the marketing tab, and there's a blue thing there that says download this first. It's called a marketing sequence document. The very first thing is your sphere. Build it and serve it. And I don't care how many different marketing campaigns I show you over the years, and how many different things we talk about. At the end of the day, all that is designed to do is to build your sphere, your database. You've got to serve it. You still got to, that's part of it. Part A is build it. Part 2 is serve it. So Bobby, thank you so much for that. I mean, I appreciate you taking your time to come on, because I know you've, so guys, here's the thing is, when, Bobby leaving is not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. And obviously, I'm sad because he's an awesome dude, and I know we'll stay in contact, but he literally lived the vision of the team, which is not about the team in and of itself. The team is a team of folks like you building your model. Remember, nothing on the team is about the team. It's not, there's no listing, no sale that goes in a team. It all goes in your name. Every lead we generate, everything we give you is all about you building your model. And Bobby just did it in the purest way possible, So, hey, Bobby, how important would you say it is to network and be part of a group? You know what I mean? Like you had your gym, and I'm sure Chris is probably part of a business club or things like that. How important is that?
I think it's incredibly, incredibly important. I mean, I can't even count the amount of deals that I've received from my gym, and those people. And my wife and I were very active in our church. One of the things that I'm the most intentional with in my life is just trying to be around friends, trying to get out, see people, get my face in front of people. And I mean, that's it's a double win, because I get friends and relationships, and I get to have fun, but I also get to talk about business. And it's like you said, we haven't had a lot of calls, and we had great calls, right? But really, I didn't require that much, because you had the plan, and I just said, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm the most creative person. And so, which was great, because I didn't have to create anything. It was right there for me. And so being a part of my gym, my church. I actually joined a country club, so I could network with guys there. And I'd never played golf at that point in my life. Now I love it. Now I love it. I'm terrible, but I love it. And now I've gotten guys that want to invest just from meeting the guys on the course, and it's just being a part of everything that you can within reason, right? It's really easy to kind of get overwhelmed. But I've never done like a BNI or a weekly call or anything like that. I've never been a part of that with like a local networking group. But I also know people who do that, and they get a ton of business from that, because generally speaking, there's just one agent, and there's just that one person. And so I just know I would rather be out and about. I'd rather be meeting new people, not talking to the same exact group every single time. And it's just been amazing. And every person you meet or every friend you have can lead you to another friend. And that's how I've gotten a whole bunch of deals.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I developed a saying years ago. I was in a car, and this was probably 15 years ago, and I was offered a really tremendous listing opportunity, something way beyond anything I'd ever done in my life. And I thought, I'm sitting there thinking, looking at the water, thinking, what am I going to do? Because I was always taught, say yes. So I said yes. And I got the deal. And I'm like, oh crap, what do I do now? You know?
What do I do?
Yeah. And I knew, like, I was in scouts. I got, like, the guys I knew in scouts are like, okay, they're have small businesses, plumbers, electricians, and computer programmers and stuff like that. I'm like, we lived in a middle class neighborhood. There was no billionaires there, but that occurred. And I said, wait a second. It's probably not going to be who I know. It's probably, but it could be who they know.
Exactly.
That's what I started doing. I started thinking, what do they do? What businesses are they in?
Yeah. And
I came up with like 3 or 4, like, holy crap. One guy knew the owner of a hotel motel management corporation. Another guy, was a senior managing partner in KPMG. I was like, now that's how you get stuff done. And then that got me comfortable reaching out and calling people and going and shaking hands. So what Bobby was talking about, guys, is we call it engagement. You definitely need to engage with people. That means, the last couple of years, a lot of us were sitting home because of the pandemic, right? I would say break out of that habit. It's still early August. It's hot outside. I'd say get out. Yeah. Go to a club meeting, go to a group meeting, network, reach out, shake hands. You know what I used to do? Because I was painfully shy. I would look for someone else in a room who was also by themselves. And I'd walk up, introduce myself, say, hey, I couldn't help notice you're over here. You must be new too. And just start a conversation. And that built my confidence. And that's how I got started, looking for somebody else that was like me, probably by themselves. And that's how I got started. But that engagement thing, guys, I can't begin to tell you how many opportunities that led. It's Bobby's living, same thing. A couple guys from the gym had no idea what they had. I didn't either, right? Yeah. And next thing you know, when they like you and they know that you're a hard worker and they know you're sincere about this, we can all do that. We can all sense that authenticity in others. So any case, hey guys, any questions for Bobby? I mean, the dude's, he's level 6. He got right here on the show. I mean, normally I gotta call people and wait months to get them on the class like that. So, and here you got one right from your own tribe, So don't be quiet, don't be shy.
Hey, what market are you in, Bobby?
I'm in St. Augustine, Florida, so North Florida. Yeah, it's a good spot right now. There's quite a bit of traffic coming this way, so it's a great market for any type of real estate, really. So, yeah.
I think it's actually the oldest established municipality in the country.
It is. Yep, oldest city in the country. Yep. I think it was 1565 is when. Wow. It's when it was formed officially. Yeah. So pretty cool.
It looks good for its age.
Well, that's the secret. You know what got it famous? They thought the fountain of youth was there. The early explorers. They said that's got to be the fountain of youth, man. So I mean, look at Bobby. Look at him. He looks like
74.
So actually, Bobby, how old are you?
I'm 37.
37.
37.
You're looking, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Bobby. This is Teresa, and I just say you're very much of an inspiration. Thanks for being part of our team and being here as a coach and mentor as you are today. We do appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to help. Honestly, I get a ton of satisfaction out of helping. I think to be completely honest with you, and this is not just to pump Gary up, he's the first person that ever actually helped me, that was willing to actually help, and not just say, oh, well, here's, go sell. Here's the guidelines. I mean, he actually opened himself up and let me ask questions. And sometimes I felt like an idiot asking the questions that I asked, but he never made me feel like an idiot, which is great. And I'm honored to be here and to be totally honest with you. I am in the most humble way ever. I'm not like, I wasn't born with any incredible skill sets. I didn't go to any special schools or do anything crazy. I just literally just followed a system. And I think that the system will always evolve. But it's, and you'll find little areas where you can really excel and things that are really, really hard for you and things like that. But I genuinely believe that anyone is capable of having incredible success in real estate if they devote themselves to it. You don't have to be funny and outgoing and all this kind of stuff. You can literally you can be shy, and but you can be sincere, and you can learn anything. This stuff it's not rocket science what we do. It's much more about being able to connect to a person, and that's both the investor side and the residential side.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you're a great testament to the program and to Gary and his coaching.
Well, thanks guys for saying all that, but I gotta tell you, Bobby really didn't make it easy. I mean, he did the work, and I will tell you, that dude was a hard worker, man. There were some times I'm watching these transactions like, holy smokes, and he's got kids too. He's got a family and home and, so.
One more on the way.
Oh, no, the kid.
I've got 3 girls and we just found out we're having a baby boy. So very, very excited about that.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Thank you. We just found out last week.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's very new. Yeah, that's awesome. Lucky
Kids. I'm getting like goosebumps, man.
I had a lot more than goosebumps. I was a disaster when we found out. It's the best. So very excited.
It is. I agree 100%.
You're wrong, actually.
What's that?
The best is grandkids, but
I've heard my parents are.
Congratulations in all seriousness. You need a little testosterone in your family, honey.
I do. I tell people, I'm like, even my dog is a girl. This house is ridiculous. It smells great, which is nice, but it is there. I need some little more testosterone here will be good.
Yeah. Well, I might hire myself out as an adoptive grandfather. Anybody wants to have they just call me up. I'll spoil those kids, man. I might have them building ramps to drop the bikes over and stuff like that, but I promise to bring them back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, listen, you're welcome to hang on, man. I'm going to go over, joining local clubs and workshops and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. And if you and Chris to stay in touch, I mean, we actually will tell you, we formed a commercial mastermind, and it's strong. I mean, I think we had
really
today. We got some big deals going on. Yeah. All over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Potentially Mexico. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
amazing. Gosh.
And literally, yeah, coast to coast. So I mean, we'd love to be a service partner with you guys and
absolutely, yes,
get the deals.
Yeah, I would love that. These guys, I will say, the guys that I'm technically like a subcontractor for. I'm not actually their agent, but they do pay very well for sourcing deals. Literally they bought 7,000 units last year. So they are, all go, and they would love to buy. They're very specific about what they want, but once they find it, we closed on a $364 million deal, 1,700 units. They closed in 82 days. So they are just it's crazy. So I would love to be connected. And even if I can just send a referral from them to the agent or whoever it is, I would be thrilled to do that. The company is amazing. They're nonprofit. They do a bunch of amazing things for local communities, and it's really cool. So, but they use obviously large resources to generate a lot more nonprofit funds. It's pretty great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey Gina, reach out to Karen Green, connect her with Bobby, because she's got a couple of land deals up in Western Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
And one of Bobby's contacts
do.
is from the area. Yeah.
Great.
You'll like her. Good, smart commercial agent, owns a ton of furniture stores also. So, yep, I'll make the connection for the two of you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, guys, what I want to do now is we probably almost 2 years ago, we launched the Global Investor Group, which is a network of investor clubs around the country. And it didn't go so well. We had some success, believe me, but it was just, people weren't showing up, Well, the good news is people are showing up now back at the live events. So I have not gone any myself, but that's a different story behind that. What I want you guys to do is for you to go yourselves. So for me personally, what it came down to was a group called ACRE, ACRE, American Congress of Real Estate. They're still out there in the world, and they're actually apparently under the same parent company as REIA, REIA, which is Real Estate Investors of America. So ACRE, American Congress of Real Estate, ACRE, and REIA, Real Estate Investors of America. In fact, one of the guys that I know through Mark Rickard in Albuquerque, Steve, and Mark, I can't remember Steve's last name.
I believe it was Montgomery. Yeah, Steve Montgomery.
Okay, yep. And I did a speaking engagement for them, and lo and behold, one thing led to another. I ended up being a keynote speaker on the annual RIA cruise in 2018. I'm not saying you have to do that, but what I want you to do, guys, is this, and just really kind of hone in on this for a minute. They're very inexpensive to join. Usually you can go to the first one for free, okay? They're easy to identify too. Literally, you just Google Real Estate Investors of America, or REIA, okay? There might be several entities using that same acronym, but you're looking for Real Estate Investors of America. There is a national organization, and they have chapters all over the country, actually all over the world now, from what I understand. Now, there are local chapters that are not affiliated with the national parent company, okay? So in other words, I'll just tell you why this happens. The founders of RIA did not trademark protect the RIA in a way that other people couldn't use it. So like the word realtor, you can't use the word realtor with words in front of it, words in back of it, or any part of that word without getting a call, illegally without getting a call from RIA. Trust me, I know, because I've early days used realtor in some of my marketing. And lo and behold, I got a letter from RIA saying, I'm sorry, from realtor.com or whatever it was, saying you can't do that without a permission. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm an agent, I pay you dues every year. They said, that's not what this is all about. So what I'm getting at is this, RIA did not protect that. So you'll have RIA of Orlando, RIA of Tampa, RIA of, Atlanta, RIA of Detroit. And because they use RIA with another name, they're allowed to do that and not be part of the parent company and not get in trouble. So just a quirky little thing. But what that means to you is you'll find local RIA groups that are not part of the national organization. And you can decide if you want to be part of that or not. Some of them do really well. I've been to some of them, and they're giant groups, and they do quite well. The benefit you get with the national organization is a lot more support and a lot more muscle and education. And they do an annual cruise, which is pretty cool. And they're always looking for speakers. If you have something unique you can talk about, just ask them, So in any case, they're easy to locate, and they usually let you come to the first one for free. And if you know somebody there, they can bring you free as a guest, right? Now, I don't want you to go in there like guns a-blazing and a whole bunch of business cards and stuff like that. At first, I don't want you to. I want you to just go in there and meet people, as many people as you can. right? That's the first thing. You want to meet as many of the participants as you can. That's the first group. The second group is you want to meet the leaders of that group. Who's leading that group? There's usually 1 to 5 people, the president, the secretary, the treasurer, the director of marketing, what have you. They have an organization. You want to get to know those guys. That's the second group. The third group are the vendors, right? The flooring people, the roofing people, the window people, the pest control people, carpenters, lenders, inspectors, appraisers. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay. They're going to be some of your biggest allies for a couple of reasons. Number one is when you do work with investors, they're going to ask you, hey, do you know anybody that can do plumbing? I don't know a single plumber, blah, blah, blah. Now you can say, yes, I do. Okay. So the 3 groups are the participants like you, the investors themselves, number 1. Number 2 is the leadership of the group. And number 3 are the vendors that support the group. Okay. The beautiful thing about the vendors is when they see that you're a player, a lot of people will call you a player. They'll help you out and support you and do favors and things like that. Okay. The leaders, what you want to do there is just in the beginning, establish yourself, maintain contact with them, show them you're a team player and you're willing to participate and help out. Okay. Doesn't mean you got to volunteer for some leadership position right off the bat, but just know this, the people that they pick to take leadership positions are the ones that do engage, participate, and help out. I mean, literally, I would do things like stay at the end and help clear tables and stack chairs or stuff like that, in the beginning. That's what I did. Eventually, I formed my own group. We'll save that for a few minutes down the road here. What I want you to do here is take advantage of the fact that someone else has probably already formed a group in your area. And you can leverage that to establish those relationships to get more business, find out who the great service providers are in the area, and ultimately get yourself a leadership position. I was volunteered actually to be on a panel one time. I was in the group for several months, and people would ask me questions because I already had a few properties, and one thing led to another. Somebody knew somebody, and they said, "Hey, would you like to be on a panel?" And I said, "Absolutely." And the odd thing was, I'll tell you what subject I talked about. They assumed I was going to talk about how do I find all my rentals or how do I find the right flips and stuff like that. But you know what I talked about? I talked about what happened when the floods occurred in 2004. And I had several units that were, literally underwater and had vacancies. And by the way, the buildings where I had flooding, I didn't just have to vacate the first floor unit. I had to vacate the entire building because they turned off the electricity, the plumbing, the gas, everything, right? So the reason I talked about that was I was going in thinking we're going to go fix these places up, be back in business in a matter of weeks, and everything's going to be fine. But let me tell you, is anybody here, raise your hand, if you ever been to a flooded area like Louisiana? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Those people just need help. I mean, they're sitting there trying to salvage old photo albums and grandmom's china and stuff like that. And they don't have electricity because when you're flooded, they don't let anybody, everything's turned off. So I remember the first day down there, I called my wife and it was like supper time. I said, honey, I'm going to stay until they make me go home. These people need help. They have nothing, So any case, we did that for a while, and a couple of days in, people were really getting worn out. I mean, it's just stressful. It's unbelievably stressful. So the cool thing is this, though. A bunch of teachers are there helping. Anybody that wasn't able to work because of this stuff, they end up volunteering. So collectively, we helped a lot of people. And the thing that it struck me was when I got everything fixed up, all but one tenant came back and said, we're coming back to you because you were down here helping us, not just trying to, I never asked for money. I didn't ask them to pay that month's rent. All we did was solve problems, fix things, clean things up. And they remember that. And for years later, people come up to me in grocery stores and the library and stuff like that, kids that some of my coached in soccer, stuff like that. That's the stuff I talked about. And when I did that, they said, you know what, would you write our article? And I did. I said, but this time write it about business. We just like the way you speak. We like the way you talk. So I wrote that article that you guys have all seen in the booklet about the 741 Florence Avenue and should I invest in the stock market or should I get a duplex instead? That's how that article came about, my very first one. The point is this, none of that would have happened if my broker didn't say, I want you to go to a local acre group. And he was a member of the acre group. And he said, just do what I tell you to do. And that's exactly what I did, the things I just told you. And one thing led to another. And eventually I did start my own group. So for now, though, the takeaway assignment is this. I want you to identify a local group. It might not be RIA. It might be, Bend, Oregon Investor Club or something like that, or nobody's in Bend. Sorry. Well, Lisa, maybe you go up to Bend. We'll see. But look for that and just start going and reach out and meet somebody, shake hands. And by the way, when it comes to exchanging information, what's more important, that you give them your information or that you get their information for you? Which one's more important?
Get theirs.
Get their information. Yep. There was times, guys, I had as many as 5 different business cards, and I thought, that's just dumb. I don't think I ever got a single transaction from handing out business cards. I got a lot of transactions for getting other people's contact information. So I get their business card, and then I would text them right away. I'm going to text you my information right now so you'll have it. And then it did 2 things. Number one, they were in my phone and I was in their phone. And I had a card with a picture on it with their face on it. Okay. So that's all I want you to do. That's all I want you to do is 3 things: meet the participants, the other investors, meet the leadership people, one at a time, and then meet the vendors. And I can promise you, you're going to establish yourself. People are going to notice you. When you're outgoing like that, people are going to notice you. So let me do a quick pause and let you guys digest that. And if you have questions, now is a really good time to speak up. There's no manual on this, by the way. I don't have a program on this. It's just not that complex. Your instincts will kick in. Okay. So let me take a quick drink. If you have questions, now is a good time to ask them. We guys are so quiet.
Gary, this is Kay.
Hey,
I
Kay.
have a question.
Yep.
I went to my first RIA meeting and I met some people and I got some cards. And when I went to follow up, I just wasn't sure what to say.
Mm-hmm. I would ask them questions like this. I would always ask them, how many properties do you have? Or ask them, say, what do you like to do? Do you like flipping homes or do you like rentals? Because those are the 2 basic. Wholesaling is the 3rd thing, but just start with, hey, what's your thing? Do you like flips or do you like rentals? And just like dancing, Kay, you just kind of, you just feel your way through the conversation. I know one lesson I learned, I taught myself years ago is when I find myself stuck, like, what am I going to say when I call this person? And this is, I'm not trying to preach a sermon to you guys. I'm just telling you, this is what I do. I'd say, please, Lord, speak through me. Right. And direct this conversation to the best outcome for the other person on the phone. That's what I would say. And maybe that didn't help, but I think it did. The reality is once you're in a conversation, and you know this, each one of you knows this, once you start a conversation, doesn't it kind of take on a life of its own? Usually, it sure does. All you got to do is start. Somebody's got to start, So you got their information. So I'd say call them, but start with that question and then follow from there. So if they told me, well, I've done a flip or 2, but I really want to get into rentals. The reason I mention that is most investors I've worked with, they get enamored by flipping. They're watching the flipping shows. They're like, well, that's where I'm going to start. Here's what they'll tell you. You've probably heard this too, by the way. I'm going to flip a couple of homes and I'll raise up all that capital. Then I'll go buy rentals. Who's heard that one before?
Yep.
You know what's interesting? Guess what statistically is the better approach? It's actually buying rentals first. I don't know why. I'm just telling you, that's been my experience with them. All the investors I work with is when they really focus on rentals, it builds up cash flow, which gives them financial security. Then they're more confident and competent, by the way, going out there to flip a home. Because let's face it, when you flip a home, well, you better have the vendors in place, right? You got to have those contractors, everybody in place. So you develop that team of contractors when you buy rentals. And the other thing too is the people that started off with flipping almost never got into the rentals because they just get in their lane and that's what they do. And the worst thing I saw was a lot of them would live off that money. They would just start buying cars and boats and houses and all kinds of stuff, till the recession hits. And then flipping is one of those crazy things where you remember the game Duck Duck Goose in kindergarten? Each round of chairs taken away.
Got it off.
Yep. Well, that's what happens when you're flipping homes and the economy turns. All of a sudden you get that house, you didn't sell it in time, and you just spent a lot of money on it, and there it is sitting there, and it's sitting days on markets going up and up and up. So, what happens is when you build up the rentals first, it makes the flipping a lot easier. Plus you learn about the market, you have more intuition, more instinct. And like for me, my third flip was I sold it July 30th, 2007. And I decided I don't like the way the economy is looking. I wasn't some kind of a genius. I just had been through it before. And I thought, I've seen this movie before. I'm going to stop flipping for a bit and see what the market's going to do. Thank goodness I did that, because man, it crashed like a rock, And I met a lot of people, Florida and Texas and California and Arizona, just left with so much inventory, and it was heartbreaking, But so in any case, buying the rentals teaches you so much more about the marketplace and the business. I'm not saying that's what you have to do personally. I'm just saying, in my experience, those folks always end up having better, greater success and much more longevity, stayed in the business much longer. So, but in any case, so back to the subject. If they say, I really want to work on the rentals, you can say, you know what, I'm going to send you some stuff that we use on our team to help identify and analyze rental properties. Okay. And you can share with them some of the marketing campaigns that we have. In fact, almost all of them came from the world of investing. They didn't come from brokerage. They came from investing. We just happened to configure them for us agents to use them. Okay. You can, if you feel, if they were like, a lot of investors say, well, I kind of want to do stuff myself. Say, great, I'll help you out. Give them our letter. Give them the letter. I mean, what you're trying to do is establish a relationship with them, right? Some of them will come right out and say, boy, I'm so glad you called me. I stink at this. I don't know what I'm doing and I need help. But you'll get some veterans who say, I've kind of got things figured out. I'm glad to work with you, but I'm not looking for an agent right now. Say, no problem. I'm going to send you some of the stuff we do that helps us in our business. That likely will help you too, establish that relationship. So you can give them that. All the links, remember in the, it says websites, the link that says websites in the resource area, click on that link and there's page after page after page of website resources. Give them the U-Haul report, give them the IRS tax migration report or website, excuse me. Give them the HUD rental report, our website. All those things there, guys, really are meant for you to share. That's one of the key things here. So when you're in these groups, you can come loaded for bear. You can come, just make sure you have your notebook with you. So if you're not really versed in the website and where everything is, you should get familiar with it. I mean, most of what I do when I do one-on-ones is just going over the website, showing people where things are. So I'd get familiar with that website. Okay. In fact, I should be sharing it with you while I'm talking about it, because we do have some guests on tonight. By the way, I just want to welcome all the guests. There's several of you here, and it's always humbling for me to have you on, and it's a pleasure because some of you I know, like Mark. One of these days, Mark and I are going to get together again, and I'm sure he's going to make me laugh. He's a funny guy. Mark's got hey, Mark, do you still do the radio program?
Do the what?
You still do the radio program? I mean, you had a radio program.
Oh,
then
the sobriety podcast?
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that for about 3 years and it got to be too much. So now I endeavor to stay up with my some YouTube videos relating to real estate, some investing in real estate and that kind of a thing. So that's it's a little bit more fun. I like the videos.
Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? For those of you on a team, you have access to our workplace page. If you go in there and search for Mark Rickert, I actually posted a link to one of his YouTube videos. It was awesome. You go to the dog park and it's just hilarious. Well, you're providing data. You're providing meaningful information, you know?
I'm getting better at it. I'm not, I have a long way to go, but thanks, Gary.
Yeah. No,
Actually, the best video I think on there is the zombie rail car video, where I actually took a customer out there and to look at a house, and there was a rail car for real in the kind of backyard, and so I made it into this spooky, let's go look at this, and it was actually a home. It was a rail car that had been converted into a home, but I mean, it had all kinds of like no power, and anyway, it's kind of fun.
Yep. Well, you're an awesome guy, and you've got a great track record, and I appreciate it. In fact, I wouldn't mind having you teach one of my classes one night, Mark, if you want to come on as a guest and we can talk about some of the things you're doing.
I would love that. I'd be honored. And by the way, I wanted to tell everyone I've known Gary for quite some time now, and just like Bobby said, Gary, I write something in my planner every day. It's called being of service to others. That's the first thing I write every single day, except the weekends. But Gary is the epitome of being of service to others. And when I met him, when he came, we had him come out. What's that? We had him come out for the RIA, and just got to know him. And oh no, first you came out to do the investor agent. Yeah, that was great. I just loved it. And I was fairly new in the business then. And I remember just super looking up to Gary, still do. So yeah, you're awesome, Gary. I love you, man.
Oh, I love you too, dude. I appreciate that. You guys, I'm gonna have to squeeze my head through the door later on, and I just thought this. It feels good, and I appreciate it. And I, I really, the success actually, how do I say this? The financial rewards are actually a measurement. Okay. So when I learned that years ago, it took me years to figure this out, because people would tell me and I'd understand the words, but I didn't apply the learning. But when I realized that the money is simply a measurement of your success, then what you focus on is the actions that you're taking. And what I realize is the more people I serve, the better I feel, by the way. It's very fulfilling, and the success, the financial success shows up more as a byproduct, So what happens is you're able to shift your mindset to focus on the task at hand, which is you've got a client in front of you that wants to buy a duplex. Okay. So roll up your sleeves, come in here to the website, click on these links. Every one of these links is a list of website links for that subject. Okay. And I love the miscellaneous one because it's got all the cool ones that I like to use on a regular basis. These are all meant for you to share with them. So what I would do is I'd take a printout of that screenshot, keep it in your planner. So when you go to the RIA meetings, when somebody says, I just don't know I want to get these bank deals. I don't know what I'm doing. You say, come here. You can say, look, go to Bank Tracker and you can see which banks have foreclosures, right? In fact, you should be doing that too for everybody here watching. Give them these links. Come in here to the tools. And these are all downloadable for you to use. They're actually original formats, so they're editable. You can put your name and address and phone number and email on there and provide these to your contacts, right? These books, if you click on that, remember the, oops, what just happened? There we go. The Premier eBooks, you've earned the right to have them because you're on the team. All the other consumers have to pay for them, except one group of consumers, and that's your consumers. You can download these, or not. You can't get them a printed version for free, but you can get them the electronic version of any of these. By virtue of you being a member of the team, you can give them to those folks. Carte blanche, no questions asked. You don't need any written permission. It's already it's in the contract already that we have as an agent. So, any case, the weekly Q&A webinars. I mean, there's got to be over 300 of these webinars on here now. 309 to be exact. Well, 310 after tonight. Actually, looks like we're a little bit behind here. Probably got 311 or 312. So if you click on this and scroll down, it gives you all the subjects, right? you can go in here and then drop down to where they're housed at the bottom. Okay. And I'll just fill you in, get a little secret here. You don't have to just watch these here. You can actually click on these and download them. Okay. You literally would have an entire library, 300 some odd plus videos at your disposal to share with your clients. So what I'm getting at is, I'm willing to bet you there's very few agents out there that are going to these regular recurring investor meetings and bringing with them resources like this and providing access to these resources. The one thing that you can't give away due to the rules of the game, I guess if you want to call it that, is the training programs. You can't give that stuff away. The way it's protected is different than the way these resources are protected. I did that on purpose when I turned everything over. But they can take one of these programs for a few $100, and actually you got credit for that. If somebody takes a training program, flipping, rentals, property management, wholesaling, whatever, because you brought them there, you actually make money doing that. It's not like a lot, but it's a way for Beverly and the team to say thank you for doing that. But in any case, let me turn off the share here so I can open up for Q&A, because I want to not be the person talking the whole time here. Let's have a show of hands, or if you want to type in the chat box, from what I've just showed you, what we talked about earlier on, being part of a local investor group, the 3 groups of people to meet, how do you get contact information, and showing you the resources that you can share with them. Does that, who here feels like this is much more doable now? I'll raise my hand too. So, so we're not talking about starting your own investor club. We're just saying, you know what, take advantage of one that's already there. Join one that's already there. And I think when I started when I was going before, I think it was like $100 a year or $10 a month, something like that. Maybe now it's 15 or 20. It's definitely worth it. When I started my own, I made the commitment to not charge a dime. And the one I eventually started did grow to 200 people, and by the end of the first year. And you know what I did? I took full advantage of those vendor relationships that I created. All right. And I made sure I launched it in a way that did not create animosity with the groups that I was already in. It was a different location, different theme, right? So I kind of had my own little flavor of things, and I started in a library. That's what I did. But I don't want to go down that path tonight, because that's like advanced. What I want to do is just stick with you being part of an existing group and add those people to your database and serve them. Look for the new investors that come in, right? And any other agent there is going to hand them a business card. Hey, here's my business card. Let's get together. What you're going to do is hand them one of those books, give them a link, print it off, whatever you want to do. Find out what they're interested in and say, you know what, I'm going to send you some stuff when I get home tonight. Send them some of those links from the website, right? Send them a book, send them a video. Okay. You can show them the YouTube channel. There's, I think, 5 playlists on there. I forget, close to 200 videos. Those are all things that were built for you to give to your folks, and it doesn't cost a thing, So, okay. So Kate, did that, sorry, we got way down a rabbit hole there, but Kate, does that help you a little bit as far as when you call somebody, how to get
Yes, I followed up, and I had one of the lender guys call me, and I didn't have anything to give him, because I think he wanted me to send him, some business. I didn't have anything to give him, and I just I didn't know where to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, go find out what he wants, go on Really Flow and look for the properties with the ownership that feels to you like it's the closest match for what that person wants. Okay.
Yeah. And I also, when I'm talking with investors, it's like, yeah, we'll work with you and we'll let you close and we'll do all this stuff. But it's like, just send us whatever you got. And it's real hard for me to get specific. I'll say, well, what are you looking for? Are you looking for multi-unit? You're looking for large complexes, small complexes? Are you looking at any particular area of the country? It's like, no, just send us everything you got. I don't know how to respond to that.
Okay. Here's what I would say. I would say, I understand you want to make money, right? Because that's, if you ask people what they want, there's, I want to make money. So you're
Uh-huh.
looking for a good deal, right? This
Right.
stuff right down. So I'm looking for a good deal. Okay. The best way for me to serve you, in fact, the only way for me to serve you and not take up a lot of your time with a lot of properties that might not meet your criteria.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a better idea for me to find out specifically what you've been buying, right? What your current situation is, so that I can go out there. I know exactly what you have to work with. I know exactly what floats your boat. And I'm going to find those specific properties. So not wasting your time casting a wide net, sending you
Yeah.
1,000 things, knowing you probably only want 3. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? And most intelligent people say, yes, that makes sense. And when you're a little bit pushy like that, they'll appreciate it, because you're not pushy in a salesy way. You're being pushy in a servicing way.
Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Hey, Gary.
Yep.
May I interject?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I love what I'm hearing. And I basically, Kay, I had the same kind of challenge when I was first working with investors. Gary, I learned from Gary some of the information that he, educates us on. Sorry, my phone went off, but here's what I do. I at the RIA meeting or wherever I'm at, I try to get a coffee appointment with the people, and then, or the person, and then, like Gary said, get their criteria. But here's what I had to do before getting their criteria. I had to learn what criteria was important to investors. Like, when I ask this question to an investor, it kind of sets you apart from others. What kind of cap rates are you looking for? Just kind of casually. What are the IRRs? How about cash on cash returns? Those kinds of, like, and they're going like, what? A lot of people don't know. And so it gives you an idea of the caliber of investor you're working with. And it also elevates you now. So you need to learn those terms and whatnot, so that you can understand them. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah.
I try to press for, well, how big of a project, do you want stuff that has foundation, roof repair? Or do you just want cosmetic? What are you really looking for? And it's like, oh, just send me everything.
Yeah.
So,
It's a great analogy. Think
yeah.
about it. I mean, we're not doctors, obviously, right?
Yeah.
We're investor agents. But the thing is, if you go to a doctor, you wouldn't just say, hey, doctor, just give me all the medications you can give me. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that. So I would ask, well, why would you do that with your money? Why would you take a chance on scattering your money to the wind? Let's figure out what's the best thing for you. And then I know what to go find. I'll go and tell them, I'll go out there and I'll hunt. I will hunt and I will bring home what you want, So, so stuff like that, I couldn't do it at first. I wasn't thinking of these things. It came from practice. So the number one thing here is, if you ever find yourself stumped, like picking up the phone, like, what do I say, or what do I say next? Think through these things, just, and you're going to write down a few key questions and a few key objection handlers, which is, number one is, do you really have the time to look at thousands of properties that are out there? Or would you rather take your time, focus it on the 3 best ones at that moment? And they would probably say, yeah, the 3 best ones. Okay, in order for me to know that, I need to know more about you, what you have to work with, what you've already bought, and what you're looking to buy next specifically. So I'm not wasting your time, And then, and if you still need another objection handler, say, think about it. I'm not a doctor, neither are you, right? In most cases we're not. Say, but the same thing applies. Would you go to your doctor and say, just give me all the medications you can? No, you don't want the doctor to ask you questions to find out exactly what's necessary and give you exactly what you need. That's what I do. And if you if you want to use your time more efficiently, get better results, let's do it this way, and be bold about it. You got to put yourself out there,
12, 13, 14, 15.
So it'll come naturally more over time, So,
Okay.
and by the way, congratulations, Kay. I saw that listing come through.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
nice work.
I'm gonna send it to you. I want you to look at it and critique it. So if I need to change how I do it, and I only listed it as residential, I want to try and get it on commercial as well. But I had to pick one category. I couldn't list it in 2 places in our MLS.
Okay. Well, for everybody out there, Kay's got one that's in San Antonio area, And it's got the potential for 3 units on the property, you know? So could be, and the main house apparently is really nice. So.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's a great, but if I was moving there, I was living there, I'd look for something like that where I can live in the main house, build out the 3rd one and definitely rent out the 2nd one, bring in some cash flow, you know? So,
Mhm.
and if it's my in-laws.
Congratulations.
And so when I get it sold, you can cancel. Right now, I'm just figuring out how to market it.
Hey, Kay, Melody's asking what the price is. I think it's 500.
It's $498, $450.
Okay.
Hey, Kay, if you've got a link to the listing, can you drop that down below?
Yeah, I'm not at my computer right now, but if somebody will text me or email me, I'll be happy to send them the link.
How about this? Can you just send it to Garrett or Bev and they'll put it out with this meeting?
Yes, I'll be happy to do that. That'd be great.
And
It is
also,
a really cool one.
and also put it on the workplace page too.
Okay, I have to learn how to do that. I'm not real savvy, but Gina can help me, right, Gina?
Yes, Gina will help you with that.
Okay.
Okay.
He's a hero.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. And by the way, congratulations, Melanie, for getting married in St. Augustine. I just saw your chat there.
Thanks.
How many moons ago was that?
I'm really not sure. It's been a
Oh,
long time,
wow.
maybe almost 18 years, maybe. I have to
Awesome.
pull out that piece of paper, but I don't know. We don't track as much as we should, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll remember for you. How
Thank
about
you.
that? Okay, let's see. All right, any other questions, guys?
Yeah, Gary. So is there a letter that we can send like landlords? So I have an investor. She bought a duplex and she wants to buy other duplexes on that block.
Okay.
So I've been kind of finding the name of the people, the landlords, but I don't have, a number. And one's in the LLC. I finally found him and I have an address. So I was
Okay.
wondering, if I could just send them some letters saying that I have someone that's interested in purchasing.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm gonna click on the letter campaign here. So this is in the marketing tab. So, logged into the website, Real Estate with Gary Wilson, clicked on members area to log in the members area. And then member resources is where we are now. You'll see this I guess I call this a dashboard, but this menu bar here, excuse me. And then click on marketing. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll go back to marketing. And once you're in marketing, it's at the top of the right-hand column, letter campaign. So these 2 letters I'm going to show you, these basically were my breadwinners, over all the time. So the one here, this is the real simple one that we use for properties that are like mainly small investors, mom and pop investors. They own a couple duplexes, maybe a couple single family homes, and maybe they're an accidental landlord. They, inherited a property, or they had a property that they kept when they bought another property and decided to keep this one and rent it out or something. But this is the exact letter we use. You cut out that entire letterhead. Don't have any letterhead on your letter at all.
Okay.
Just put their name and their property address. And then down here, Craig, if you notice, because there's no letterhead, I haven't told them yet that I'm a licensee. So down here, you definitely have to disclose that in your signature block. Okay. And in some states, you've got to provide your license ID. I know California and New Jersey are 2 of them, and I'm not sure. I don't think South Carolina is.
No, we don't have to.
Yep. But for everybody on here, check with Texas, because I think Texas might require. Melody, do you know on any outgoing marketing material, do you have to put your license ID in Texas?
I'm not the compliance person, but not that I know of.
Okay.
I've even had people teaching the letter campaigns without noting that. So.
Okay.
In Washington State, you have to also, I don't know where
Okay.
else, but I mean, I definitely can chime in on that one.
Okay. One thing I do want to mention, I always forget to mention this. This down here, you are allowed to use this. It does use the word guarantee, but what I'm guaranteeing is that we instruct, inform, and assist our clients and advisors, right? So even EXP said that that's okay. They just didn't want me actively promoting it when I teach EXP classes, because there are a lot of people there that are not, they're brand new and they're not used to investors and stuff like that. But what's not here is this. In this letter, we actually took the effort to find out if a property was actively listed or not before we'd send letters. What I would suggest to you is you put the disclaimer in. It's not written on here, but I'll give it to you. The disclaimer is, if you are currently under contract with another real estate brokerage, this is not a solicitation of your business. And that's the wording. So if you are currently under contract with another real estate broker, this is not a solicitation of your business. And that was from a real estate attorney. But years later, we started just putting that in, which was because we went from using dozens of letters to hundreds of letters and thousands of letters. And you definitely will protect you and the broker by doing that. And I'm
Okay.
remiss for not mentioning that before. But that way you don't have to worry if the thing's listed or not. Really Flow will tell you if it's listed. You know, if you go into Really Flow, let me show you this real quick and I'll show you where you can find out. And remember, guys, all these are recorded. So if you feel like there's a lot here and you're not going to maybe not remember everything, you can always go back to the recording. Just mark down where we are. It's 8:08 Eastern right now. So we've been on for a little more than an hour. And that way, okay, you can kind of fast forward to where you want to go. No, I never saw this before. Why are they making me do this? Okay, there's a tractor. There's a tractor. I can't see if there's any other tractors.
Upper left.
Top
Does that
left.
count as a tractor?
Okay, good. I'm seeing these things more and more, by the way, not tractors, but these security things. You know?
Where you been, Gary? Seeing tractors everywhere?
Yeah, well, I haven't. Right now, I'm telling you, there's lots of tractors where I am right now at Mom's house. Okay, so if we go into our search, either property leads or commercial leads, I'll click on property leads. In the lead types column, you drop down, see right there, it says active listing. So you can see if something is actively listed, right? If you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you have the option that the match must match everything, or if you don't have that selected, it'll match anything you find there. So I wish they had a negative component too, like I want this and this, but not this. That would be
Gary,
great.
I just ran a list off of this today and pulled a bunch of names and it had the active listings, but out of my list, there was only like 6. And all you have to do when you get the CSV or the Excel, in Excel, is just sort by that column because it gives you the agent's name, phone number, and everything else. I had like 5 or 6. I went ahead and verified 2 of the addresses to make sure they were like legit listed. They were. So it was super easy just to screen by that and then ditch those 5 lines, 6 lines off my list. So it's not hard.
Okay. Okay, good. I appreciate that. Actually, that's pretty easy. If you in fact, even if you're not searching for it, if you're just searching for a long-term owner, Really Flow actually will tell you all the criteria that's met, whether you ask for it or not. You follow what I'm saying? So if I search for just
That's exactly what I was searching for. I was running long-term owner in a town down here. And it grabbed the actives also, which there, like I said, there's only 5 or 6. There was 1,000 off the list that I pulled. There were 6 houses listed.
Yep. Let's do a quick test here. Melanie, what's your zip code? I know you've told me before,
78628, or actually do 78759 is Austin.
And we'll just do long-term owner. All I want to do is I just want to do a test here and see if there's any that say that they're actively listed, even though we didn't ask for it. The point I'm trying to make is you can search for one criteria, but see the first one that popped up is not only long-term owner, but they also own free and clear and they're behind on their property taxes. Actually, I would call that one, Melanie. Let's
Yeah.
do a screenshot, you know? But that's what I'm saying. You can, you know, I forgot that this actually will tell you if it matches any other criteria, you know? Thanks, Gina, for saying that.
Thanks.
So
1.2 million, the property.
holy mackerel, look at that thing. That's big. Yeah. Here, I'm going to click on it, Melanie. Hang on one second. So you can get the name and address. So
Yeah.
do a screenshot, Melanie, because there it is, Barbara Clayman. There's her address there. So you might be able to look her up and,
Wow, that's
you know,
awesome.
do like sometimes you can find, I've been able to find a lot of people's phone numbers just by typing in the name and address. And there's a lot of paid services, but every now and then will say, hey, here's that person's number, and it works, you know? So in any case, by the way, on the letter, guys, just to look ahead here, next week, a guest named Jennifer Biddle is coming on. She's another investor agent I discovered in Phoenix area. She used to be up in the Seattle area. And she's like I was way back 15 years ago. She's got a small group of investor agents she works with. She trains them just like I did, and they're crushing it. So I asked her, I said, would you mind coming to one of my classes just to show people some of the things you're doing and let them hear your story? So she's going to come on next Monday. The following Monday, the 22nd, I'm actually going over the letter campaign in detail. Let me go back here. So I'm going over this in great detail, in all the instructions, everything. Look at that hair. Holy crap. What do you think?
Awesome.
That's my mom's rocking chair too, but now I got a haircut today, guys. Can you tell? No, Saturday, I got a haircut. So
Looks good, Gary.
thanks. I look back at my old hair, I'm like, wow, what was I thinking? So any case, so back to this. We're going to go over this on the 22nd in as much detail as you need. I don't care if it takes 2 hours. We're going to go over it because this is one of the key campaigns that I've been really promoting and pushing this summer. This one, the booklet, and of course you heard, you know, Mark and Bobby talk about your sphere and calling your sphere. I mean, if you did those two things and you join a local investor group, I can't imagine. And you put that, you got to, you know, put some muscle behind it, put some effort into it. It's going to work. And the way the market's going, the investors are going to be coming in the picture more and more, as well as the banks with their foreclosures. I'm trying to be careful not to go too long tonight, but I just want to tell you, the rate of foreclosure filings is absolutely on the increase, and we're already seeing them on the market. Not many, but we're seeing them. So I'm going to go on a limb and say, you know, if you're looking for something else, maybe in September we'll go over working with banks and how do you work with them and getting the designation and things like that.
Gary, let's do it. And in
yeah.
between now and then, can you have the team maybe track Bank Tracker? Because I know that it gives you like
Yep.
I think it gives you the total overall, so we can kind of watch that tick up over the next like 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go,
And then did you get the text that I sent you of all the companies that are laying people off, all the mortgage companies left and right?
Oh, yes.
Wasn't that a good
Go ahead,
one?
if you wouldn't mind,
Oh,
go ahead and talk about that, Gina, if you don't mind, because I'm going to find this link for you.
Okay, so I don't know how I ran across it, but I started, who knows, you know, you're on the internet, next thing you know, you're watching cat videos, I don't know. But anyway, I ran across a whole bunch of sites of mortgage companies that are laying people off left and right. And there's actually sites that you can go to that talk about where they're laying off. And it's all these companies that are massively laying people out. A lot of real estate companies that have mortgage branches, they're laying people off left and right. So it's just kind of interesting. And it just lets you know that the demand is way, way down. Clearly as the rates go up. So it's natural and it makes sense, but it still was really interesting. So I'll see if I can't find some of those links and send those over. It'll be for the meeting. So
Thank
don't
you
let
very
Bev
much.
send out the email till I find those.
I've got to find, I've got to determine the agenda for September. Obviously, September 5th is Labor Day, so we won't have a class there. In fact, this is highly unusual. We're only going to have 3 classes in September. the 12th, the 19th, and the 26th. By the way, on the 26th of September, Andrea Davis is going to be on. Andrea Davis. So Bobby was the first person to cap on the team. He was also the first person, I think, to cap the following year. And then Andrea Davis is the first person on the team to branch out and start her own team. So she now has her own team. And I forget how many people she's got that she brought in. Some are relatives and things like that, but she just got top 5 realtors in Florida. She's also an icon. Okay. So she's launching her own office place in Venice Beach, Florida. And I'm going to be there. It's on August 29th, Monday. I'm sorry. Yes, August 29th, Monday. So I'll be there for that. Yeah, August 29th. And I go back up north on Tuesday the 30th. But in any case, she's going to come on the 26th of September and just give you guys some of the things that she's doing. Okay. Now, I will tell you, she's a hard worker. I mean, she runs a cleaning company. She's got kids, grandkids. I mean, it's crazy. She reminds me of Brianna, you know, you got kids screaming, dogs barking, and somehow or another she's doing multiple transactions. So in any case, so be on for that, but I've got to get the agenda for September. I'll make this one of the agenda items. We're going to go over how you work with banks. In fact, let's do that on the 5th. I mean, on the 12th, excuse me. So Monday Night Live banks. That'll be the 12th. And let's remember this. We can do a screenshot. Right now, total troubled assets is 74.8 billion. Okay, that means, or you can look at it and see. 74.8 billion means includes loans 90 days or more past due, loans that are no longer accruing interest on the bank books, and property the bank has repossessed for non-payment. That means they're an REO status, real estate owned. REO stands for real estate owned. It's an accounting term in the world of banking. Okay, so this is properties that have already been foreclosed on and properties that are more than 90 days or 90 days or more past due. The workshop adjusts this amount to deduct loans that have full or partial government guarantees. So guess what that means? That means the actual number is even bigger. Did you just see that? Look at that. The workshop adjusts this amount to deduct loans that have full or partial government guarantees. Well, I'm here to tell you, that's a lot of loans.
So that would take out all the FHA, which required PMI, right?
And
think so.
GA.
I'm
And
reading
leave
this.
us with just conventional and portfolioed?
Yeah, I would think so. I'm gonna have to, I gotta research this. I mean, if that's the case, the total assets is 24 trillion, by the way. And of those assets, the loans make up 11.2 trillion. So loans are making up almost half of the total assets. Remember, the loan to a bank is an asset. So you and I, it's a liability. To a bank, it's an asset. That means that's a lot. So collectively, 74.8 billion. Let's just say this is 100 billion. That's 10 trillion. That means that's 1%, 10%. That's 1% of all loans right now are in 90 days past due, already in foreclosure. Now,
Can you
if
paint
you're
her
looking-
toes?
what's that?
Or do you,
Oh.
or you need to go?
If you were looking at loans that were just 30 days past due, that number apparently this time last year was at 30%. 30% of all loans were at least 30 days past due. So in any case, let's remember these numbers, and we'll come back and check when we do class.
She
Let me
can
write
just
this down.
go barefoot out. We're going home.
74.8 billion. And we'll just remember that. That's the troubled asset loans. Okay. All right. And that guys really will be a complete. I mean, that if you were to do the workshop, local club, booklet, letter, and work with banks, I mean, you literally would have a pretty complete marketing campaign going on. It would be, you're pretty much covering all the bases. And if I say, if you're working full time at this, you can do it. But if you're part time, if you have a full-time job or another job, I don't know that I wouldn't try to do all those, because you want to be effective. And it's hard to be effective when you're doing too many campaigns. You just really want to, I mean, really, I would start with the booklet and the letter, right? And I would add the workshop once you feel comfortable, because the workshop's only once a month. The RIA meetings, they only meet once a month or so. And it may be banks after that, because I wouldn't work with banks unless you feel really competent and confident. Even if you're not, you don't know everything, you got to exude confidence when you go in there and talk to those people. Okay. If you go in with your hat in your hand and are a little bit sheepish, it's not going to work. You know, they're going to sniff it out. So the bank business is something you want to be a little bit pumped up for that. Does that make sense, guys? Yep. And start small. Start with small local banks, little teeny tiny ones. You know, 1 branch, 5 branches, maybe 10 branches at the most, and start there. The big banks they'll take care of it. The big banks will find you once you start servicing the small banks. Okay, we're starting to go down some rabbit holes here, but any other final questions or comments?
Yeah, Gary, did you ever have a mullet?
No, I see somebody asking, oh, did I have a perm? I never had a perm.
What about a tail? Did you have a
never-
tail? Did you bleach it blonde?
Yeah, I will tell you one thing though, and what's funny, Gina knows this person. You know, there's one person in this world that convinced me to do, I don't know what you call it. It was like dyeing my hair because it was getting really
Remember
dark.
that.
The gray was coming out. And I thought, I'm not going to do this, you know, but women have a way of convincing men to do things that they wouldn't really do. So
I will just say he was a California surfer blonde dude for a little while.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
That's all.
And when my Aunt Nikki saw me for the first time, she about had a cow, you know, because boys in our family didn't do those things, you know. So in any case, that's a little bit of my hair history. Enough of that stuff. So now I cut it short. By the way, hey Melanie,
Yes.
you think your husband could do something with Frank McKinney? Did you see Frank McKinney's hair?
Oh, I didn't.
You guys Google Frank McKinney. Just Google him. He's a real estate rock star. That's what Wall Street Journal calls him.
Wait. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yes, I did. Yeah. Actually, when I saw that picture, I didn't recognize the name when you said it, but
Treehouse guy.
the
Yep.
treehouse guy. I
Yep.
did. I thought
Yep.
of my husband when I saw him. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's was one of my mentors, guys. He agreed, he provided the first endorsement for our book by the way, the book, sorry, real quick, I know we got to go here. The book is at the editor, okay? And we got our first endorsement. I got 5 or 6 more coming in the next couple of days. I want to I'll get as many as I can get. But I'm calling in some favors. If anybody of you know somebody that you think would provide or be a good endorsement, just introduce them and I'll, you know, what we do is we say, look, you know, we're happy to let you promote whatever it is you have. They might have a podcast or a book themselves or whatever. We can let them do that if they want to just glance through the introduction and say, yep, I'm willing to endorse this subject because it's a unique subject. What we're writing about is not very common. It's very unique and it's not really competing with too many other people. So in any case, I've got some good ones coming in, but yes.
Would Chris Heller do one?
That'd be awesome. Yeah. Let me write that down. I'll give him a call tomorrow. But I don't know, that could be sensitive, Gina, because he still owns the Carlsbad Market Center. And he might be doing a joint venture. He started a training company in Texas for driver's licensing. Then they went national. And then we talked about starting a real estate education company. But I never followed up or anything like that. He may be doing that with Gary Keller. I'm not sure. I'll find out. You know, he's a great guy. I mean, he's been a big influence on me too. But Frank McKinney, guys, one of my big mentors, and he wrote several books, all of them bestsellers. Started off flipping little crack homes in Delray Beach, Florida, and moved up to build, I think the biggest one was like $50 million. I mean, I've been to a couple of them that were $25, $30 million, just amazing properties. And but he started off literally dealing with the muck and the mud. He was teaching tennis and basically frying his skin. He's from Indiana. And he had long hair to protect his shoulders and stuff. And then in any case, a real neat guy, if you want to look him up and read about him. He's endorsing our book, and I've been to his house a couple of times, been to his treehouse. It's where he works. He has a rope ladder going back to the main house. And right on Delray Beach, he's got like 4 acres. It's an amazing place, but really humble, down to earth person. And he builds houses in Haiti for underprivileged people. So I helped him. I built a house down there years ago. That was one of his, to work with him. He didn't say, give me $25,000. What he said was, build a house for somebody in Haiti. I'm like, okay. You know, what does that take? So we did it. And one of the best things I've ever done. So
That's
we're going to help him. Yeah.
I
So,
love that.
yeah. Okay, guys.
Hey, Gary,
Yes. Hey, Kendra.
hey, I was in the car when you gave the acronym ACRE. What did that stand for?
American Congress of Real Estate. ACRE.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Lisa, Lisa said Frank is cute. He's definitely he could probably be a model. The
He's
dude,
got some great hair.
yeah,
It's my style.
yeah. Well, he runs the Badwater, I forget the name, Badwater, it's a foot race in Death Valley. It's a 135-mile foot race. He's run 7 of them. So the first time I met him, I was like, look, dude, I want to hang around you. I want to learn. That's what I'm here for. And he said, meet me at 4 o'clock in the morning out front. And I said, okay. So we stayed up to 1 or 2 talking about all kinds of things, helping people and, you know, what influenced us and things like that. And that's why I found he's a really spiritual person. But 4 in the morning, we get up, we go to the only place in Delray Beach where there's any kind of an incline, and it's the bridge going over the intercoastal waterway. He climbs underneath it, throws me a rope, says, start pulling, I'll come up and help you. It was an old tractor tire. And he would tie this tractor tire with a rope around his waist to pull the tractor tire behind him to run up and down the bridge on the side, back and forth till his tongue was hanging out, you know? And that's how I prepared for the Badwater foot race. He's an Iron Man. I mean, he's an absolute, the guy's crazy, you know? But when he has a vision, the biggest thing I learned from him is, you know, you really can do anything you want. I'm telling you, the only thing holding you back is you. If you're not accomplishing what you want to accomplish, it's not the world, it's not the clients, it's not the inventory, and all these things. They're all true. I'm not saying inventory is the short inventory is not a true thing. It's a true thing, but you get to choose whether it affects you or not. You know. So he's probably of all people, him and Rich DeVos, the founder of Amway, and I got to meet him in person twice actually. Really neat guy, my gosh. But they just were willing to put themselves out there into the world and take action to achieve their goals, you know, and it didn't always work out. I'm telling you, Rich DeVos was sued by the US government because Amway had this crazy network marketing model that they thought was some kind of illegal thing, and he proved them wrong. He's one of the only people I've ever known who's been sued by the federal government and didn't cave in and didn't go broke, you know. He owns Orlando Magic, and he's the co-founder of Amway. You know?
And he's still making millionaires every single day.
Yep. He's what a true American hero and icon. And I guess I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'll let you go because this is pretty amazing. So when I met him for the first time, we went into the Fort Lauderdale Governor's Club or something like that. And I was, you know, went to the restroom, came, and everybody's sitting down, and the only seat left was a seat at a table next to the podium where the speaker was going to be, which was Rich DeVos. I never met him. I didn't know what he looked like. Well, it turns out he came in and sat down at my table, and we're sitting there talking, and everybody's getting quiet. And I'm thinking, well, this guy must be somebody important. Still didn't know he was Rich DeVos. So, in any case, he gets up to speak, and I'm thinking he's going to talk about business and building this big major empire and the Orlando Magic and all that. He didn't say one word about any of that stuff. You know what he talked about? His 4 kids and what it was like raising 4 kids in America and what he would do with them. He would spend time with them every day and go sailing. He didn't buy a giant 500-foot sailboat. He bought a little 24-foot sailboat, just the kind anybody could buy, and taught him how to sail. he talked about his kids. That's what he talked about. And the coolest part of all is this. He had a heart transplant and he said, you know, I actually met the person I got my heart from. Of course, we're all like gasping, like, well, how the heck do you do that? So a young man in England had gotten in a car accident and was on life support. Another person in England needed I think lungs. I forget how this works. If they replace your lungs, you need to replace the heart at the same time. Or is the other way around? In any case, whatever happened, she got the lungs and the heart from this guy, and her heart was now available. And they gave it to Rich DeVos. Rich DeVos had this lady's heart, and her heart was the young man who died in a car accident with his lungs, and he got to meet her. And at the end of the speech, he pulled out a prayer. It wasn't St. Nicholas. I think it was St. Philip. It was a different saint. And it wasn't a dry eye in the whole place. You know, we just got it was done. It was amazing. And so 2 years later, I got to have dinner with Rich DeVos at Frank's house, you know. But in any case, some really neat people. And the whole thing about putting yourself out there, you know, some of you know me better than those. Gina probably knows me better than anybody. And, you know, I'm probably a little bit of a crazy man now, but back then I wasn't. I forced myself to put myself out there and meet people. And that's all I want you to do is take a small degree of that and go to your next RIA group and just shake hands with 3 people, meet 3 people. That's all I want you to do. If you're really shy, pick the person in the room that's not talking to anybody. Somebody else that's shy, go over and meet them. You know, start with that. But start the process, guys, because the opportunity is coming. The gravy train is coming. And I want you to be prepared for it. Don't wait. This is not the time to wait. This is the time to prepare. So, okay, that's my preaching moment for tonight. Everybody, oh, hey, Elsa, congratulations on your closing. I just saw that one too. That was a big one. Nice job. She might be muted here. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go have some chocolate truffle ice cream. I fell off the ice cream wagon. I can't help it. I'm sorry. So, and I'll see you next week with Jennifer Biddle. Wednesday night is our GIA team meeting. Make sure you're on if you're on the GIA team, please. That'd be great. Got some important things to cover there. And for everybody else, we'll see you next Monday. Sound good?
Thanks, Gary.
Night, everyone.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
joining,
Gary.
everybody, especially the guests, Mark and
Thank you.
some other folks here. Sally K, I see you there. Thanks for joining. I saw Greg Covington earlier and Bobby's checked off, but thanks again to Bobby, guys. And have a wonderful week. God bless you.
You too. Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.